Mistrial, 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 mistrial. Hello, guys. Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. It is 3 p.m. here, Chicago time. There are what appear to be more lies from the state. It's like they continue to try to track back and destroy or try to make us forget all the BS that they spewed in the beginning. Everything that we have been told in these legal documents, there's a lot that is being said between the lines, right? So we'll wait a couple of minutes for people to join us in the chat. By the way, I hope you guys are staying cozy. Chicago today is like 30 degrees, so it feels like a heat wave compared to the minus 10 degree weather we've been having. If you guys are in the Chicago area, let me know. Hello, Big Plants, Little City, Zyra, Lisa, Dan, Emily, Dan, Justice for Kilo, Jody. Welcome, guys. I'm glad you made it to the live today. Oh, yes, crime time. It is Thursday. I almost forgot, right? Happy Thursday. If you're in here, make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you are giving this a like. Don't be afraid to participate in the chat. I really want people to just get comfortable. Like, of course, be respectful in the chat. Be nice to people. It's not that hard. But I want you guys to feel comfortable talking to all of us, right? It's our YouTube fam. So let's talk. Let's participate. Let's give it a thumbs up. Hi, Strange. Hi, Nocturnal by Nature. And Michael, the whole family is here. There's still a few people missing. Don't worry. If you missed it, you can always be part of the replay crew. And you guys got on my butt yesterday saying that I haven't been drinking tea. So I'm like, fine, I'll make a tea just for y'all, just for the people who are asking. So I made a little secret recipe. I'm gonna call this tea, we'll call it Blood Moon. We know there was a full moon just a few days ago. I have not strained it yet, so this is what it looks like up close. It's still steeping, so it has not come to that full color. It's usually bright red. My Blood Moon tea has hibiscus and elderberry. There's black currant in there, rose hips, cranberry, rooibos, and it tastes really good. It's a little bit tart if you guys have ever had that tea, right? It's great for immune system, can help weight loss, can be anti-inflammatory, but I'm not a doctor, so yeah. So let's get to the lies, right? Let's get to the lies that the state continues to push. And I was bored at work and I started reviewing some of the older documents. And again, there's a lot that we sometimes miss. I'm not perfect. And I was going through the reply to the state's objection to the defendant's motion to suppress and memorandum in support RE Pennsylvania search warrant for 119 Lamson Drive, Albrightsville, PA. So this is the home. This is the address of Kohberger's parents. And I want you guys to pay close attention to what I'm about to read. It's relatively short. And let me know what you take away from it, because I'm going to tell you guys, this is a problem. The state continues with their BS, right? If you go to that document that was signed on 19th day of December 2024, so just a month ago, right? It says here, the police were concerned about making a hasty knock and announce, which apparently meant no knock, and yelling from their Bearcat because Mr. Kohberger was wearing the same gloves millions of homeowners wear to do the dishes. So, just for those of you who may be new to the case or who are still thinking that Kohberger was allegedly caught, wearing these lab gloves, these nitrile gloves, guys, it was not lab gloves. In this document signed by Jay Weston, who works for the defense, right, who works for Bryan Kohberger, is saying that these were kitchen gloves. So there are so many people, including Bill Thompson out there, who are still trying to paint that picture that Kohberger was doing something naughty when the FBI, when law enforcement caught him at 119 Lambson Drive, Albrightsville, PA. They're making it seem like we walked in Kohberger. He was there wearing these lab gloves, separating trash, illegal activities. And I'm like, let me just show you here. Let's go to my kitchen. I don't think you guys have been there yet. Okay. Okay. This is what kitchen gloves look like, people. Okay. We have very vivid imaginations, right? A lot of us, myself included. So, of course, when the state tries to paint Bryan Kohberger as this serial killer who was somehow magically finding these victims that he apparently did not stalk, that he was there in his parents' home separating trash, probably DNA, right? Probably DNA. Probably doing illegal shit, because that's what Bryan does. He's a freaking incel. Nocturnal by nature. That is another rumor that has never been verified, right? Did his sister really say she thought he may have done it? That is another rumor that has never been confirmed. And this is why I am always warning people, be very careful of the information that you are listening to on social media. We know that social media, the news in general, are always trying to push the narrative. It doesn't matter what it is. That's what they're trying to do, push a narrative. So I've heard people like Nancy Disgrace, like similar news people, painting this image, portraying Bryan Kohberger as this, he was a PhD student. He knew all about science and he wore gloves, creepy lab gloves to separate the trash. And I'm like, bro, I thought that everybody used these. I'm sorry, but I use these, that I have pairs of them in my basement. I have a pair for kitchen dishes. I have another one for when I clean the bathroom, specifically for the bathroom. I have another one for when I do laundry, because sometimes I like to scrub, and you don't want to get those chemicals on your clothes. How weird is it actually? It's not weird to have gloves. And here we have this legal document that I just named stating that these are kitchen gloves, okay? That millions of homeowners wear to do the dishes. Not weird. Now, we're going to get into the state lies here, right? It continues to say 2 more things of note. According to the police, they had snipers watching Mr. Kohberger go from room to room, obviously greatly reducing his chances of posing much a threat. And although the state oddly claims it is not true, the FBI had been surveilling Mr. Kohberger since December 21st and had many occasions to take him into custody. Okay, what did I just read? Because I had totally missed that one sentence in this legal document the first time, right? It's saying that the state is denying. The state is outright effing lying. Could there be sanctions? Should there be a mistrial? We have heard so many lies from the state, this one included, them pretending that the FBI was not involved back in December 2021. We know the FBI has been surveilling him. This is a fact. And Ann Taylor and Jay and the entire defense team is saying, why are you guys acting weird, right? This is oddly stated. Why are you guys saying that you were not following him? And you have to step back and realize, why would the state deny something we all know is true? FBI knows it's true. The state knows it's true. Law enforcement knows it's true. The police officers that pulled Bryan Kohberger over twice know that it is true, that they had been following, and the FBI had been following, along with several law enforcement agencies, had been keeping track of Kohberger since December 2021, or since December 21st, sorry. Why would the state then lie? Why do you guys think? I'm going to tell you why. Because if the state was gathering things illegally, doing things illegally before they had the proper permission, the proper documents signed, dated, sealed, whatever they needed to get done, and they're like, you know what, this is going to be too slow to do things properly in a legal, ethical fashion, let's take a shortcut. Why not do things illegally? Why not track Kohberger? Why not have snipers on him? Why not have FBI on his ass before my computer's dying? Before we have to wait for all that. Because otherwise, the state would be losing valuable time. But if the state wants to do things the sneaky way, as they did, tracking Kohberger before they were legally allowed to, most likely, allegedly, speculating, theorizing, then guess what happens? And now the state has to lie yet again, right? They have to lie yet again and say, well, we don't know anything about that. We don't know that the FBI has been watching. We don't know anything. The FBI had been surveilling Kohberger. Let me know in the chat, why do you guys think that the state is lying? There's no reason for the state to lie about this, and yet they are. And there is a reason for it. So please let me know. Why do you guys think the state is lying? What are they hiding? Where do you live? I live in Chicago. For crime time. Oh, maybe she was asking somebody else. So cold here in Ohio, says Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Crime time says, I'm wrapped up in a heated blanket. So cold. Oh my God. Get some tea in you. Get a warm blanket. Stay warm, friends. It's 60 now. Can't imagine. And hello to all of you in the chat. Because they have lied about everything else. Exactly. And like I have said since the beginning, guys, when you lie, okay, it doesn't matter how small the lie is, eventually one lie turns into 100 lies, right? 1,000 lies. There's a snowball effect, which we have seen with the state. They're having to cover one little lie with now another lie with now a bigger lie. You guys think that they're lying just for shits and giggles? You have to open your mind. It's because they are hiding something. And in my opinion, it's because they were doing things illegally, right? The state had already identified Kohberger on December 19, 2020 through IGG, right? The state had obtained aerial photographs of the Kohberger residence on December 21st, 2022. The state had driven by the Kohberger residence on December 23rd, 2022, and followed Kohberger on December 24th, 2022. Cameras were placed at his parents' house on December 25th, 2022. And then trash was taken from his parents' residence on December 27, 2022. They had plenty of time. There were plenty of occasions to take Kohberger into custody. And the state failed to do things in a legal manner, right? The state was supposed to abide by the law and knock and announce, but they didn't. That means they failed to abide by the law. The state doesn't even follow the law. Law enforcement didn't even follow the law. This is out in the open. They've broken the law time and time again. Now they're lying about tracking Kohberger back in December 21st. Let me tell you a little something. This might be a little far-fetched. We know that Moscow PD is corrupt. That we know, right? Stickergate. Go watch my old videos on Stickergate. The shitty things that they have done to college students, specifically college girls. A lot of Moscow PD officers pulling young college girls over, trying to get SEXUAL acts in return so that the girls wouldn't have to be ticketed. Okay. A lot of cops have gotten in trouble in Moscow PD. We know they're not good. They're not good. They're not a good police department. There's a lot of bad apples. Maybe there's a couple good ones, but most of them seem to be bad. We know there was pressure from the university to make an arrest. And after reading about what happened at Stickergate, the Stickergate incident involving Moscow PD, it's not that far-fetched that evidence could be planted. For example, IgG could be planted. Touch DNA could be planted. And the reason that I think the state is outwardly lying, being corrupt, saying that they had no idea, that they don't believe that the FBI had been tracking Kohberger, is because if there is any room for the state to plant evidence or Moscow PD to plant evidence, especially touch DNA, you would need to potentially pull Bryan Kohberger twice on the same day, and touch DNA is touch DNA. Okay. Stop making it something it's not. Okay. You literally touch something and it's there. That's touch DNA. In both of those incidences where Kohberger was pulled over on the same day, I wonder, is it possible that a corrupt officer or officers pulled him over because they were trying to get touch DNA? There is a lot of money on the line, right, involving this case. University, pressure from the entire community to make an arrest. Pressure from the university to make an arrest. A lot of political pressure just in general in the entire state, because this is the biggest case Idaho has seen, most likely, one of the largest. So, if you're going to pull Bryan Kohberger twice, allegedly steal his DNA by maybe swabbing his IDs, and then you're going to plant it somewhere, of course you're going to have to lie. Of course you're going to have to lie about tracking him back in December 21st. That is why the state is lying, in my opinion. They are being very freaking sneaky. And there are so many brainwashed people out there, hopefully not in my channel, that are like, but cops would never do that, Nika. You should know. You're a veteran. You guys are good people. Let me tell you something. As somebody who has a master's degree in psychology, guys, the people, the positions of power, the jobs that have the most psychopathic, sociopathic people are those where people often wear uniforms, and there's a lot of positions of power, meaning FBI, meaning CIA, meaning DEA, meaning all the three-letter agencies, meaning police officers, meaning basically every law enforcement agency. Okay, this is not me saying this. Statistics show. You want to find people with sociopathic, psychopathic, narcissistic traits, go to those places. You're very likely to find them. And you know what? This has been shown to us, not just in statistics, but real life experience. I have talked about the whole human thing ring, you know, the T word, TRAFFICKING. I can't say it because they like to suppress this channel otherwise. That ring that they found in Florida, who was in that ring? It was mostly law enforcement, politicians, military members, active duty veterans, law enforcement, cops, teachers, lawyers. Okay? The white coats, says Ira. And this document says that according to the police, they had snipers watching him go from room to room. I'm just wondering, were their blinds like wide open? Because they have to be, right? If they're watching you go from room to room, the blinds have to be wide open. In my mind, one would do that if you know you're being watched. I am almost positive that Kohberger knew he was being watched. I don't think he was stupid enough to not realize that he was being followed. One would definitely question being pulled over twice in the same day in the span of what, like an hour? Was it even an hour? Not unless they're using heat camera or they follow body heat. That's true. But then it could also be his father or his mother or maybe whoever else was in the house, right? We know the FBI was following him since December 21st. And now the state is like, no, we were not. We were not. Why are you lying? Why is Santa lying? They can tell by the height and weight. Yes and no. I don't know how tall his father is. I don't think he's very tall, so you're probably right, right? I think his father is quite short compared to Bryan Kohberger. And I don't know about you guys, but I had always assumed that the drone and the plane that was circling their parents' residence for over 2 freaking hours was the FBI. Why would that be the FBI? That would be the FBI because most law enforcement, most police departments don't have the budget, right? But local LE usually doesn't have that budget. So it was the FBI. I don't think that's actually ever been mentioned officially in documents, but it's pretty obvious. The FBI was on him, and I think the FBI has been on him even prior to December 21st. I think the defense is able to pinpoint December 2020 or 21st because that's when we see some activity, some FBI activity in regards to Bryan Kohberger. But I personally think he was being tracked much sooner. And there's a theory, guys, that he had been on the FBI watch list for a long time. Why would he be on a watch list if he's supposedly a goody two shoes? Why would he be on a watch list? Well, we know that there are a lot of empty roads in Idaho that are used for trafficking people, illegal substances, weapons, because we know the Aryan Brotherhood gang moves so much of that, right? Jesse James Bailey, the largest drug bust ever in history, was moving a lot of things through there. And they continue to move a lot of things through there. A lot of, illegal substances, weapons, people, everything, you name it. If you are new to the state, like Bryan Kohberger was, and you are a little bit out there, you like to take late night drives maybe to relax after your long day of work, all of your school, whatever. I like to go on late night drives. I like to go on late night jogs as well. It doesn't mean we're doing anything illegal. But if he was going on these drives on these very empty roads that are always being monitored by the DEA, by the FBI, the cowboys that we saw in the home, the cowboys we have seen at 1122 King Road allegedly gathering DNA, gathering evidence, taking pictures, maybe, is probably the DEA, right? I know people who are DEA and they look a lot like that. Some people have said, oh, it's a cult, oh, it's this or it's that. I think that that was the DEA. And when you have these massive agencies watching every movement on these empty roads in Idaho, these quiet roads in Idaho where they know things are being moved, if you're always driving through there, you're just Bryan lollygagging like, I'm going to go enjoy my day. You're going to probably be on their list, right? Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, but they're going to be like, why is this weirdo always out here? Like, he sure passes through here a lot, right? So the state can just stop pretending that they were not following the FBI, that they weren't following the FBI and copying their homework, right? That's what the state was probably doing. It sounds like the state took whatever tips or little bit of information, whatever scraps they could get from the FBI and ran with it like the bunch of idiots that they are. Instead of actually sitting down and doing their work and trying to investigate like a real detective would, like so much money in this case, you would think with so much money, they would have done a better job versus just getting scraps from the FBI. But instead, they're like, we're just going to run with it, right? This tip that they got from the FBI, they took it as 100% truth and ran with it. And now they're fucked, right? Because now they're having to backtrack and cover their ass and cover their lies and cover all their bullshit and try to make a story of all these pieces that they have that don't match. And you have to wonder, when you have so many pieces of information that don't fit, it's probably because they don't go together. It's probably because you have nothing. It's probably because you don't have the case that you thought you did. It's too late now. Is it too late for mistrial? Jay signed this document that I just shared with you guys. I have to agree with Jay. It's extremely odd that they're doing this. And what's even more odd is that people that are 1000% sure that Kohberger committed this crime don't stop to think about this. Don't use your brain cells. They're like, well, he obviously did it. He obviously did this, right? Beyond a reasonable doubt, he committed this crime. But then why is the state lying? For God's sake, people like Nancy Disgrace are still out there lying that he was wearing black laboratory gloves in the kitchen. Bitch, he was wearing kitchen gloves. You want gloves because then your hands stay really soft and stuff. But why was he going through the trash? This man obviously knew that he was being watched. He's getting pulled over and over again. There's vehicles following him, snipers. You think you're not going to know that you're being watched when you have a freaking helicopter right above your house for hours? I wonder what that could be. They're just hovering there. Probably looking at the neighbors. Probably not me, right? Come on, give me a break. Stop covering up your shit. Very crazy. Just wanted to hop on here for a little bit. If they had done their work the right way, the legal way, the ethical way, following protocol, they wouldn't have to hide anything. They wouldn't have to hide anything because that's why you have SOPs. That's why you have standard operating procedures, right? Because you do step one, and then when that's completed and perfectly done, then you move on to step two. You don't just jump all around, because when you jump around, you fumble things up. You F things up. You mess things up. Now we have to question everything. Cell tower data analysis, cast reports, everything. IgG. And by the way, I've mentioned this before. When I recently watched that interview with Othram saying that it takes them 6 to 8 weeks to build a profile, yet they magically built one in 24 hours, is extremely concerning. And for people that are 1,000% sure that Kohberger committed this crime, you have to be so careful, because when it end up being you that ends up being falsely accused, and they build an IgG profile to say, it was you, bitch, you killed this other person. And it's like a random IgG profile, potentially planted evidence, because we know Moscow PD, ooh, they have bad apples. And people hate when I say that. Nika, you're a veteran. You need to stand up for the people who serve. No, ma'am, sir. We stand up for people who do shit right. I'm not going to protect pigs. Yes, I said it, pigs. Because that's what you are. You're a pig. You're a filthy animal if you are doing things illegally, not doing things ethically. You are here to protect and to serve the people, not to fuck them over like you did in Stickergate. Yes, Moscow PD. And then on top of that, we have incompetent police officers like Detective Payne, who, by the way, has like no experience in detective work. Why was he lead detective? It's almost like they wanted to fuck this up from the get-go. And then we have Payne, and then Mary. I don't really know anything. I'm just a policeman. I don't know anything at all. Someone from Pennsylvania posted that they instated a law where they have to separate the items that you recycle. I know that they can't have any caps or liquid fluid food inside them. Yeah, you do. You do. And where Kohberger's parents lived in that area, you definitely have to separate your trash. But if you're an American that lives in an area that you're not required to recycle, or you're not required to separate your trash, I can see why you would read a legal document and be like, well, why was he wearing gloves in the kitchen separating trash? He was doing something illegal. He's obviously the killer. But now we read more updated documents saying, oh, it's actually kitchen gloves, and you're actually required to separate the trash there. What did they want him to separate the trash? Like go through the bin with bare hands? That's fucking disgusting, Bill. It's fucking disgusting, bro. So now I'm like, where are we going to end up? And I'm going a little off track, guys. I have ADD. Okay. It's like, where are we going to end up? Like, as a country in general, now you can't have freaking gloves on and separate trash because that's shady as fuck. Now you can't go on late night drives because that's shady as fuck. Now you cannot vacuum at 3 a.m. because that's shady as fuck. Now you better be sure that everywhere you freaking go, you have an alibi. Because if not, you're shady as fuck. You also have to make sure that you have GPS and signal everywhere you go. Because if not, the cops, LE, can easily make a cast report. We know that cell phones, signals jump off of towers. They bounce off of towers. If a tower is too full, guess what? The tower near your home is too full. Too many signals, it's going to bounce to the next tower, which could be miles away depending on your area. So now you're going to be shady as fuck. It's horrible. Are we going to end up like the UK? Isn't London one of those cities like Big Brother is everywhere? They have like a camera for, I don't know, every square foot or something. I don't remember what it is. It's something stupid. Is that what we have to do? I don't know. All of this is shady. If the state had done things properly, there would be no reason to hide anything. And the fact that they are now coming out and lying to our fucking faces and saying, we didn't follow Bryan. The FBI didn't follow Bryan. Not then. Not on December 21st. We know you did. And Jay knows you did. And Ann Taylor knows you did. Why do you have to lie? And you know what's problematic? Besides everything, of course. It's problematic because if Bryan Kohberger actually fucking killed these people and he is able to show that the state majorly fucked up, that means there could be mistrial. That means this man, potentially a serial killer, could be let go. Because if the state fucked up, all you need to show is one little thing where the state messed up or did things illegally or sneakily or shadily. That's all you need. And now we could have a potential serial killer on the loose. Because why? Because the state wanted to be the state, wanted to be above the law, break the law, do things illegally, creepily, lying, sneak, cheat, everything that you're not supposed to do. And now we have a dangerous man potentially on the loose. Thank you, Bill Thompson. Thank you, Moscow PD. Thank you, FBI. Thank you, Idaho State. Yeah. That's not a good feeling. I don't think that Bryan Kohberger did this, not because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just like an angel. He just looks innocent, you know? He just looks so innocent. So fresh. You guys think that pro burgers think that Bryan is innocent just because of what? Because of his looks? Because his PhD? Like, hello? No. The people that are making Bryan Kohberger look innocent is the state, is law enforcement, is the coroner, is some of the parents of the victims, is everything that the state has tried to hide. That's what makes me question. That's what makes me realize that at this moment in time, we cannot just conclude that Bryan Kohberger committed this crime. In fact, we can't even conclude that he was involved whatsoever. We can't even conclude, the state can't even conclude that he had any connection to the victims. No stalking. Out of Bill's mouth, Bill Thompson, no stalking. So what the fuck is going on, guys? Does Brett Payne know something we don't know? Is Bryan Kohberger the informant? Is he just a PhD student that happened to be driving around, losing signal, and now doesn't have a good alibi? What are we supposed to do if we like to drive on our own at night to calm our minds? What are we supposed to do? I guess don't do that anymore. That's risky. Should we just record ourselves or something 24/7? I don't know. I'm just in a mood. I'm just in a mood. He's not ugly. I didn't say he was ugly. He's not ugly. I don't think he looks innocent. Who said that was a door? The prostitute. I mean, the prosecutor. Ah, Chantal. The whole peeking through the door and seeing the killer coming right at her is a lie. Oh, are you saying Dylan is a liar? Oh my God. Is Dylan a liar or are the cops lying? Did they just write up their PCA to suit their needs? Ew, girl, I could see you are very angry. I never get angry, girl. That causes wrinkles. Why do you think I look younger than my age? I'm in my 40s. I'm mid-40s. I get very passionate, but that's one of the pros of having a master's degree in psychology. You can be, but actually, if you test my blood pressure and my cortisol, perfect. It's not worth the wrinkles. It just isn't, right? Elizabeth, we all should be angry before the grace of God. You or I, it could be our son that has been in jail for 2+ years, and that would be horrific. But for people who are quick to say, well, why isn't he just like screaming at the rooftop? It's like, you do understand that when you get caught up in our legal system, you can't just opt out of it, right? Now you have to wait for court hearings, processes, procedures. You can't just be let go. El Boricua says, green is you. Do you like green on me? Thank you. Nocturnal by nature, that. The state has been scandalous. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I think he's an average looking guy. I don't think he's ugly. I don't think he's a supermodel. I mean, he's tall. He's relatively slim. I could see why people are attracted to him. I think they plan. Oh no. I promise you they plan to mess us up. I'm going to prove it. Just making sure the quota was taken care of at school. They didn't lose their students. That they didn't lose their students. Of course, we all know that this was a priority. It's all about the quota. It's all about the money, right? Bill is so gross. See, everyone is lying in that town. Big college cover up, screw ups. Nika reminds me of Sandra Bullock. I guess it's the nose, but mine's natural. Green looks good on you. Thank you so much, Layla. I'm also in my mid 40s and people think I'm much younger. Nothing faces me either. Yeah, it's like I get very passionate, but again, it's like just de-escalate in like 0.25 seconds. Something is terribly wrong when a roommate waits 8 hours before she does anything. Don't get me started on Dylan because, oh my God. Ugh. And the thing that sucks for Bryan is that he wasn't liked by his female students. So any of them could go and say he's creepy. He's got the eyes of a killer. He doesn't grade correct. That's the thing. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. When you're not liked by people like in your social circle or who you work for, who you work with, they're just going to perceive you differently. This is why most serial killers, most sociopaths, psychopaths are the opposite of what Bryan Kohberger is. And if anything, they're very well liked. They have a lot of friends. They're extremely charming. Statistics also show, guys, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Bryan is autistic, but statistics show that if you're autistic or you're neurodivergent, which makes you atypical, it makes you odd, an oddball. I'm neurodivergent. I'm also slightly an oddball. People don't like you as much. They like sense your weirdness, your oddness, and you're less liked just because of your body language, how you look, how you come across. Something tells me that Bryan Kohberger is neurodivergent. When you're neurodivergent, you have sometimes it can be a struggle to be well liked by people. You have to try twice, 3 times, 4 times as hard to be well liked, to blend in. Whereas again, sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, man, they just glow. And neurodivergent people, we're very good at spotting the bullshit. We're very good at spotting those people. We can almost smell them as soon as they enter the room, right? We pick up on those pro-social behaviors because we're not very good at them. So we're like, this person is being very charming, too charming, in fact. Whereas most people don't pick that up. Can you recommend a good moisturizer? I use olive oil. I love being odd. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm at that age where like I don't really give a shit. But it took me a while to get here because I am neurodivergent. Just a lot of hate, especially from women. And if you're conventionally attractive as a female and you're neurodivergent, sorry, baby girl, you might struggle a little bit before you grow into loving yourself. Because let's be honest, let's be blunt, most women will just hate you. Michael, the photo was around 11:30 that very night, then seen on Linda Lane camera 4:22 a.m. Saw it yesterday. I think he's neurodivergent, right? He just comes across as that. And when you're neurodivergent, yes, I agree. I've always said that. I personally think that he's on the spectrum, and I think he's high IQ. I am ADD, high IQ. I feel like me and Bryan might be similar. I'm slightly on the spectrum according to some tests. So ADD on the spectrum and high IQ. Is it possible that Bryan Kohberger is too? Because he just, something about him, right? People are like, his dead eyes. I'm like, I just think he's neurodivergent. And again, neurotypicals, normal people, aka the majority of people, see a person who's neurodivergent, aka they see Bryan Kohberger and they're like, he has the eyes of a killer. His body language is strange. Only a serial killer could be that calm in the courtroom. And I'm like, yeah, but also somebody with autism, or also somebody with ADHD who has a internalized ADHD, right? Like, kind of just gone. That type of ADHD is usually mostly seen in girls, whereas usually men are more on the hyperactive side. So could it be ADHD, inattentive ADHD, just zones out? I don't know. I remember Nancy Grace making a huge deal about him being vegetarian, and he's vegan, in fact. Vegan is something that a lot of neurodivergent people are drawn to, partially because we are more empathetic. It's not because we're better people. We are just more sensitive. We are more empathetic. And it hurts us to see animals. So actually, most people that are vegan are neurodivergent, statistically speaking. I am also vegan. I don't like to talk about it because I don't want to be one of those people that are like, that's the first thing you know about them. Oh my God, you're one of those preachy vegans. I've been vegan since I was 17. I think I cheated, honestly, like in my 20s. So vegans will say I was not vegan because I had like ice cream or something, but I'm actually vegan. So I'm going on like almost 30 years vegan. Asperger's is not the term we use anymore. It's like an outdated term, but I know what you mean. You mean on the spectrum, right, Susan? The DSM-5, I actually have it here. You guys know, because I brag about my degree, because I think you should be allowed to brag about your degrees. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's like y'all are out there applauding the Kardashians for shaking their fake asses, but when I talk about my degrees, you're like, oh my God, you're such a snob. You're such a snobby bitch. It's like, bruh, this is hard work. 4.0, it's hard work. We should brag about that. Rex, you saw orbs behind the clock. The orbs, guys, I think I've told you guys one time before, the orbs. A lot of you are like, oh my God, you sound crazy. You're a scientist. Don't talk about the orbs. The orbs are sometimes the girls and Ethan coming to visit, right? Sometimes the girls, they're comfortable here. And I've had so many dreams the last few days. Every time it's a damn full moon, I don't sleep well. My dreams are extremely vivid. I woke up drenched in sweat. Like 2 days ago, Monday, when the full moon was like full, and the girls were telling me, do not donate to my parents. Do not help them. You need to expose them. In my dream, but it was just a dream. So we'll leave it at that. Congratulations, Mr. Hi-Fi. Columbia University. I went to George Washington. I went to like 6 universities, but my last degree was from George Washington University. Congrats. You should be proud of those accomplishments, right? He looks normal to me, says Zyra. Yeah, he looks physically normal, like I look normal, right? But a lot of people give me shit about my body language. You're like, oh my God, can you stop rocking back and forth? You're like a child. Like a child. I'm like, yeah, I'm ADD. Like I have to get this energy out. Sometimes we look strange, not because we look physically strange, right? We could probably blend in. I look fairly normal. He looks normal. It's the atypical behavior, meaning that when Bryan Kohberger is in court and he's looking cool, calm, and collected, he might actually be losing his shit internally because he's on the spectrum. Or he might have inattentive ADD, meaning he has zoned the fuck out because he's been at this court hearing for, I don't know, too long and his brain is overwhelmed. So when a normal person, a typical person sees that, they're like, he must be a psycho fucking killer because he just looks too cool, calm, and collected. And that is not normal. Bro, ADD, autism, that's what I mean, right? So Chantal says, "Oh my God, me too. I couldn't sleep and woke up drenched." Yeah, a lot of dreams with the victims, and I don't know, man. I've been pushed like the last couple days. I just had that. That's why I made the videos of the Gonsalves. Again, it's not anything personal because I don't know these fucking people. And in my core as a human, they don't deserve what they're going through. They still don't. Even though they're fucked up people, narcissists, whatever else, they still don't deserve that. No, but no parent should have to put their child down into the ground. They just shouldn't. But my dreams, the orbs, the girls are the orbs. Sometimes they feel at peace here, whether you believe in orbs or not. And they want me to talk about the parents. There's something there. There is something there. Will we ever know? I don't know. Did you get your last degree afford? You turned 40? I'm confused. Oh, I didn't just get my degree. Before you turned 40? Is that what you mean? I did. He's been sitting in jail for so long. I hope he has some decent books to read, at least. He could also just believe in the justice system and know he's innocent. Maybe. But I'm all for the justice system, but it does have its flaws. The main one in this case being innocent people go to jail all the time. If the state needs somebody to be in jail for money, for political pressure, for whatever, yeah. Leslie, like, get your crap together, court people, and let's get this started for Pete's sake. I'm so glad he has a strong attorney. Is he being allowed to continue schooling in there? I don't know. I wonder. I really hope he is because that would make the day go by so much faster, right? Especially if he is neurodivergent. A lot of people who are neurodivergent, they need a routine. So at this point, I don't think BK wants anything else to do with the justice system, LOL. Justice for Kilo. By the way, girl, I couldn't sit like that with the door behind me. I need to see the room. I have orbs chilling back there, so it's cool. Don't you worry. Well, just wanted to get on here and chat with you guys for today. What do you guys think about that document that I shared at the beginning of this live? If you're a part of the replay crew, please go watch that because the state is lying about a lot of things now. Likely because they did this illegally. So, should we be concerned? Yeah, we should, because it could be any day. Me or you, our children being falsely accused, maybe. You would want things to be done properly. So, there are 109 of you in here. Give it a like, leave a comment, leave an emoji. Let me know what you thought about this video. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. If you loved it, give it a thumbs up. I have to get ready for work. Number 2. So, crime time. I don't like anything or anyone coming up behind me, constantly scanning and very aware of my surroundings. That sounds like you're always in fight or flight. I'm all about being aware of my surroundings. I was in the military, so that's one of the things we were brainwashed to be, fight or flight. It's not a good thing to be in constantly. It's a good way to increase your cortisol, that's for sure, if you're always scanning, you know? But that's just me. That's just my it's not an opinion actually. It's been shown. That's why so many military members end up sick, uh, muscle breakdown, with autoimmune conditions because you're always in fight or flight. You're constantly scanning everything. They teach you when you go in, you have to be sitting in specific areas, right? Like if you're deployed or if you go to a restaurant or a coffee shop, you should be sitting. There's specific areas that you should be sitting at so that you have use of the windows, you have use of the doors, you always have an exit strategy. You're in fight or flight, baby. Cortisol, adrenaline causes health issues. There are ways to be not paranoid and still. I'm not looking behind me and I can still feel there's nothing back there, right? But that's like more of the intuition stuff. By the way, I think I did a video where, let's do it here actually. I'm very good at this, guys. These tests have been done by the military as well. These studies, before I go, shit. I'm running out of time. Before I go, I'm going to put something in my hand. And yeah, these are studies that have been done by the military to train people to be intuitive, meaning that you don't have to just use your regular senses, right? Like you don't just have to rely on your eyes. You can use everything, like how the wind feels on the nape of your neck, things like that. Just your intuition, your knowing. This is science, surprisingly. Let's do a little quick session. I have an item in my hand. You are going to close your eyes and take deep breaths, and then you can tell me in the chat, what do you see? I always tell people to give me like the color or the shape or the metal, or if it's a rock or whatever they see. I sometimes do this training with military members with cards like Uno reverse cards or stones like crystals, right? But today I'm just going to do it with a random number. So we'll see how it goes, guys. I'm holding a random number here. This is not witchcraft, by the way. This is science, right? Because now we're starting to learn that we're all connected. It's all connected. And we all have intuition. Can you tune into it? Take a deep breath. What am I holding? This is not an Uno reverse card, so it's not a number. It's just a random item. This is not about guessing either. Don't use your brain. I'll give you a tip. It's an animal. It's not about using that knowing part of your brain. It's using your cells in your body. Does that make sense? All right. Leslie Keys. Yes. Robert Keys. Brain leaves me out. So it's a little horse keychain that my friend brought me from Mexico. And then there's my house key. Clink, 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 clink. And it's like a bronze. So it takes practice. If you are type A, like you're a control freak, you need to be aware of everything at all times. It takes longer for you to realize that. People who are more laid back, like just whatever happens, man. People who are more laid back just naturally just like pick it up like that. I'm more type A, right? 6 degrees, 4.0, military, like I was very type A. It took me years to be like tuned into my intuition, years. And now it's like I can't turn it off. I can literally sense people who are 20, 30 feet away from me, and sometimes I'll know who they are. It's crazy, right? Oh my God, I have to go, guys. It's 3:58. Got to get to work. Bye. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you like that little exercise at the end. This is my blood moon tea. I gave you guys the recipe at the beginning. Leave a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me.